There we go.
Yep. Got the red dot. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Just another week, another off week in the PGA, uh, and it's going to be probably a short Holin None podcast this week. The John Deere Classic, everyone's favorite, uh, was. Did you watch any of it?
No, no, I didn't, and I would like to say that I didn't realize that Shanky had in his contracts that he only shows up for elevated events as well. So it's good to know. He's obviously got the right agent working for him.
Yeah.
Us lower beings have to slog through the off weeks as well. But I'm sure he'll be back for next week when we talk about the Scottish Open. But yeah, no, didn't watch a single stroke of John Deere. Watched a bit of the live. Actually went to your house to have a few beverages and get stuck into the live golf. And of course, London had a huge storm and rained it out for us. So
Mm.
how good was that?
I guess the one thing that they have got to their advantage is they just pushed it out like 4 or 5 hours, and because with the shotgun start, they need 3.5, 4 hours, and they can get the round of golf in. So it worked out all right with them. I think if it was a normal event, they'd be really struggling and would be using up extra days and whatnot. So yeah, look, John Deere, we weren't overly excited about it, and there wasn't a lot going on there. Obviously, the winner, Sepp Strucker. Um, I do remember we mentioned him. I feel like it was the US Open or maybe the PGA Championship. He was leading strokes gained off the tee and like had some crazy stats, but he was like dead last in putting or something. And if he'd just, and I think he came to like T7 or something even better. And if he'd just managed to putt, he probably could have actually won that event. So
Yep.
it's kind of good to see someone like Sepp, who's been around for a while. He's not a complete no name.
No, it's good to
He's
see someone win an event. Yeah, like you said, with a name and a cool 1.5 mil almost
yeah,
for going
absolutely.
out and beating a bunch of nobodies on a weekend. But
Yeah.
a shout out to the PGA for listening to the pod and giving us a week off that we've asked for.
Mm,
In terms of viewing, I feel like all three competitions really got together and listened to what we had to say and
yeah.
just put on three. Well, not subpar events because I will give it to the Live. The London was actually quite a good event. The crowd was quite good, and it sort of says a little bit about the crowd that they maybe should be looking for versus the crowd that they have gotten on
Yeah.
most events. We
Agreed.
spoke about this a little bit on the, I think it was Sunday morning. And yeah, it was, yeah, like you said, in London the sun never sets, right? So the shotgun start was a go there, and maybe that's something the PGA could look at when they have some of these big events that they lose a lot of time for. Maybe they could implement a shotgun start. I don't know if that could even work with the amount of players they have in the field. I guess it depends which day, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, on the live, I guess, because I don't know about you, but don't have a lot to say about the John Deere. So on the live, there was something quite nice about it. A little bit of familiarity from last year. It was such a big deal when they teed off in Centurion last year for the first event. And I can't remember who won it. I think it was Brandon Grace or somebody won last year.
of course he did.
Um, yeah, I think he did. It was him or maybe Schwartzel. But anyway, um, I remember the holes. I remember like the approach shots and the angles, and there was a lot of familiarity about it. Something special. I think Centurion particularly will go down, and who knows what's going to happen with Liv in the future. At this point, it could be anything. And I think London, like a lot of people watched it, but yeah, there's something cool. It's quite. I would dare say it's almost the home of Liv, and then obviously Adelaide, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Birthplace,
there was
maybe.
big crowds. The weather was okay for most of it, I think, apart from that washout on that one bit. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
You,
Obviously,
you you've got to think too that this is maybe one time the schedule, although the schedule worked for Live from a like a PGA versus DP versus Live Tour point of view, maybe it didn't work for them super well timing it in the same weekend as Wimbledon and an Ashes test in England, right? So maybe the crowds would be even bigger. Obviously, Ashes only once every 4 years or once every eight
yeah,
years in England, so maybe just a bit unlucky there. But Wimbledon as well, maybe not the best time to have it, or maybe it is a better time because you got people from all over the world. They can come in and have a look and whatever. But yeah, the crowds were pretty big. But that's another thing. It's another positive thing for Live London is that it could only get bigger, right? If you think if those two events aren't on, cricket and golf fans go pretty hand in hand, I would say, over there,
Yeah.
just like they do in Australia. Tennis maybe not so much, although we've played golf with a couple of ex-tennis players that have been quite good with the old clubhead speed. But yeah, that was my only thought about the crowds, was maybe it could get a little bigger. Obviously, the rain always drives a few people away, but probably not too many Londoners. I'm sure they're pretty used to it.
Yeah. So, and I mean, like, to be honest, like, I don't know how many people can fit into Wimbledon, and half of the PGA was there.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I sent you a picture of the famous threesome, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Ricky Fowler, all dressed up to the nines. I think Tommy Fleetwood was there, and so yeah, I mean, the average Joe can't even get in there. So you might as well go watch Live at Centurion.
Well, I mean, that's right. You think about those guys, and that's only from one sport, right? You think about all the other sports that are there participating as well. And, these boys are all over there getting ready for the Scottish Open next week. So they're getting used to the weather. Again, taking a week off. I quite like the way that the schedule's worked out for some of the PGA big guns, because, you look at, we'll talk about it a bit later, but you look at the Scottish Open field next week, and it's got major vibes coming from it.
Stacked. Yeah, it's like an elevated event for sure.
Great for Scotland. Great for Scotland. And I love how they do it the week before the Open, because it's really like, hey guys, come over here and dip your toe in the water before you face the real test. So
yeah.
But Liv, I'll give it to Liv. I enjoyed watching the highlights with you on that morning. Obviously, we couldn't stay up late enough to watch it live. And from all accounts, it looked like a pretty good competition. And one of the Aussies took it out, which again is always good to see Cam Smith winning again, maybe finding form just in time for one of his favorite events. I remember last year.
And in that second day, he was a beast, and he could have easily thrown it away on the last day. A guy, I tell you what, like DJ still got it. He hung in there, and then he pushed hard. But like I think I mentioned to you today, the guy that really surprised me, and he kind of came out of nowhere on the third day, was Patrick Reed. And love him or hate him, he will go out and win tournaments, and he pushed Cam right to the end, and Cam could have easily have lost that. Patrick Reed was a putt away from a playoff. Cam felt pressure. He missed his final putt, which cost his team how many $1 million? And that's not something you say. Cam Smith missed a putt to cost someone something, right? He's literally one of the best, period. So glad he got it done. I'm personally glad because I picked him in my team, which is fantastic. I actually think I got first, second, and third, maybe, but I don't know, close.
You didn't get third, Leishman. This might be the first time that we've had two of the Ripper GC in top three, I think.
Absolutely. And actually, shout out to Leash too. He played so well.
He was consistent. 7 under, 2 under, 5 under. Very consistent day. That second day too, with the rain delay, that could have been anything. And again, this is another shout out to Paddy Reed. Comes out the second day and shoots 7 under on day 2 in those adverse conditions, because you got to think with the rain and that everything's changed. And even you look down the leaderboard, boys like Louis Oosthuizen and DJ, these guys that used to be killers at one point on the PGA, the top five in this live event are all guys that could do some damage on the PGA maybe next year when they come back, or the year after, or whatever, however it works out.
Yep. So no, it was interesting. Look, what else about the live? I'm trying to think.
Well, actually, Leishman was T2. He was tied second because he's 14 under as well. So Leish and Reed were both second.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. It was weird watching Leish. I didn't think that he was going to go out and win it. I kind of thought he'd disappear on the second day. So, yeah.
He had no chance. He had no chance, really. And even Paddy Perez was putting in his effort to, the reason the Aces won, obviously, was because of Pat Perez getting 9 under as well.
Yeah.
Top 10. The Aussie boys, it was really some heavy lifting at the top, because the other two boys were even and 3 under, Matt Jones and Jed Morgan.
Yeah.
Just doing absolutely nothing. So maybe that putt from Cam was undeserved anyway for those other two boys.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Look, they got to figure that out. I know if our plan goes ahead tomorrow, one of the things I want to talk to our guest about, I think he knows Jed quite well.
Okay.
So played together for a lot, and I think they're the same age. So be interesting to question that and his thoughts on where that all stands out too. So all in all, I think a really positive for Liv this weekend, and I think the dark cloud following them around post this deal, whatever it looks like, is really fading away. So yeah. But
I mean, I can feel it fading away myself as a self-proclaimed live hater. I don't seem to have the same amount of animosity just watching the event anymore, I guess. I still think it's a subpar competition. I still think that they haven't executed the idea as well as it could have. We were talking today actually about, if you looked at every one of these tournaments and added a fourth day to each of the tournaments this year, who would have actually won? And I think that could be quite interesting.
Yeah.
I still think Cam Smith probably goes out and wins this one because he's Cam Smith. But, think about some of those Taylor Gooch wins and, when you've seen DJ charging up the leaderboard on the last day and, what would have happened. I think that there could have been a couple of events.
Surprise.
And here he is, Shanky Watts is
Hey.
done his contract negotiations and he has to come in on the off weeks. Here we go.
Yeah.
I see the big red dot sign. We've gotten started. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
So
we were just talking about just wrapping up about Liv actually.
Yeah, one last thing though before we wrap up Liv, and I wanna get Shanky's opinion on this one. Big time opinion. Brooks Koepka v Matt Wolff. Now Matt Wolff has fallen out of form. He kind of came through as like a real young gun, really long hitter, straight into Team TaylorMade, rubbing shoulders with Tiger Woods and Rory and everybody. And then his form dipped. And he was one of the first ones to put his hand up and just peace out straight to Liv, took the paycheck, happy days. And I think there's a really big sorry, 1 second. There's a really big gap between people that took the money and people that took the money. Like Brooks took the money because he was out of form, but he has a lot of talent, right? But Wolff has fallen off a cliff. And Brooks has come out this week and said, and I want to quote this one because it's beautiful. I mean, when you quit on your round, you give up and stuff like that, that's not competing. This is coming from Brooks. I'm not a big fan of that. You don't work hard. It's very tough. It's very tough to have that, even like that, in a team dynamic. When you've got one guy that won't work, one guy that's going to give no effort, he's going to quit on the course, break clubs, get down, bad body language. It's very tough. I've basically given up on him. This is Brooks Koepka, the same guy from Full Swing Golf, sooking, and that's a scathing.
I don't think he was sooking though. I mean, he came across a bit like that in the Full Swing, but he also came across as a guy who he said he left because he wants to compete, right? And if you're, and like I said to you today, like these guys aren't super used to being in a team environment. And if you've got a guy, we feel it too. If you're playing in a foursome and someone's just like, I don't want to be here anymore, I've had enough, it drags the whole team down, regardless of whether you're on a team or not. Someone's carrying on like a pork chop, and then they say, I just want to go home, I want to leave. I don't think that's acceptable at any level of golf, let alone when you're getting paid millions of dollars potentially.
Yeah. So here's what I think, right? I think Matt Wolff is the type of guy who had just natural ability. That's why he could get away with that swing. That's why he could do whatever he wanted. And now, like you're saying, he's in a rut and he can't get it back, and he's not used to that. He's a young guy. He probably doesn't know how to act. He probably doesn't have the support around him that he used to when he was playing in the PGA. No offense to Brooks, but I don't really see him as a leader. I think he's a fantastic golfer, but if you're looking to him for inspiration, I doubt he's going to be the guy to give that to you. So Matt, he's probably just felt isolated and lost, and for him being on a supposed team, he probably doesn't feel it, and that's why he doesn't care. And I don't, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. All we're hearing is, and then the media just throws this stuff at the moment they hear it. It's, they'll make a mockery of it,
They love
but
it.
they love it. So I don't know, Matt Wolff quitting, doing whatever. I don't really care. I've never been a huge Matt Wolff fan, even when he was in the PGA. But I don't know, man. Like
he finished.
Even if he
took, did you say he finished dead last, 8 over?
Finished dead last, yeah.
Well, I mean, even looking at that, like if he just because he would have gotten a big paycheck to go over, right? He was a decent name. But if he actually quits and just stops playing, like they're just going to take his money away, and then he'll have nothing. So he should at least.
But it's more like he quits on the course. I think, like he just sort of stops caring. And if you're coming last in a live field, when you look at some of these names, and you're a PGA level, quality level name, right?
Champion. You've won events.
You should never be coming in bottom 10, let alone last.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could say, you could say his swing is the most unorthodox swing. and now he's just not finding the ball for whatever reason. But I don't know, man. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think generally he's probably a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think everyone goes through ruts. I think he's not handling it very well. But I think if he keeps at it, whether or not he stays with Liv or goes to the PGA or whatever happens to him, I think he'll come back stronger, just like kind of all the big guys. Like there's been guys that have played their entire careers worse than Matt Wolff has.
Yes.
And are still continuing to get better. There's no reason Matt Wolff can't. Like I said, he's got really natural athletic ability.
Is he
So
a,
then,
is he a big
is
enough
that out of
name?
line then? Is Brooks out of line? Is that too much? Is
No,
that too much?
no. Brooks is not out of line. No, Brooks is right. Like he's not trying. He's not doing what he should be doing. And Matt probably knows it, but he's probably too proud to admit it.
Senior player, captain, having a word to the guy who's just not pulling his finger out. I think that's fine. But we talk about Matt Wolff, like coming back to the PGA. Who's to say he'll get back into the PGA? He's not a big name anymore. He's not playing well anymore. He's definitely not one of the guys who they're going to exempt from whatever decision-making process they decide on. Like,
and he doesn't have a pretty swing.
He wouldn't be top 10, let alone top 5 people that they let back in.
Yeah.
So some of the guys who have earned their card in the meantime, some of these young up-and-comers, PGA is going to look at that and think, okay, well, we've got these guys now that are probably more marketable as well. The ugly swing was marketable at first, but now it's kind of silly.
Here's the other thing too. This is what I don't like about what Brooks did. He publicized it, right? They could have kept that internal. It didn't need to come out at all. They could have dealt with it. He decided to go a different route. That's probably not a good play by Brooks. Was he wrong in saying it? He probably was right, but I don't think it should have came out like that.
I think last year the Matt Wolff finishing last player was Brooks's brother, and Chase has obviously put some work in and got a bit better. He's been playing very well. But I think I guess the difference between the two maybe is attitude. So
absolutely, everyone knows golf is mental. Matt's just going through something.
And sometimes when you call someone out, we see it in footy sometimes with the captain will call a player out, and it's like or a coach will do it. That if you think about the NRL, that happened a couple times last year, and it works one or two ways. Either the player is embarrassed and pulls themselves back into line and starts trying harder, or they go the opposite way. So I think with Matt Wolff, it looks like he's just going to go the opposite way and sort of fade into oblivion. Because Brooks is going nowhere. Brooks is good enough that he can go wherever.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like you were saying this about Brooks last year.
Yeah, but Brooks is a very different player than Wolff. Brooks was bad last year, and where he's turned it around through competitiveness and hard work, and now I don't see Wolff coming back and doing what Brooks has done, even to a similar level.
I don't see any reason Matt Wolff can't come back and play the level he was playing, because he was striping it. I don't see any reason he couldn't do it again. I do have to ask though, what have we spoken about up to now? Because I did want to, if we're talking about Liv, I know you're closing off, but I mean, did you talk about that heart-wrenching putt from Cam Smith at the end?
Costing his boys money.
We talked about how he maybe missed it on purpose because some of those boys didn't deserve any money because they were it was Mark and Cam doing all the heavy lifting for the Aussie team.
Yeah, but Jed holed out to keep them in it. Like if he hadn't holed out on his third last hole,
if he went under par for the whole weekend, he might have helped them too. He was one of the last. He was come 30 something. So that one shot probably wasn't Cam's fault. It might have been his fault for missing 5 or 6 putts.
Hey, we've got to be careful with Jed. He's a chance for the pod. So
yeah, I'd love to. I've been a supporter of Jed since the Australian Championship.
Yeah, but you can't blame him for missing one at the very end when I'm sure that some of the other Aussie boys missed a lot of.
That is not a putt. The putts that Cam was sinking on the last day, there's no reason.
Yeah. We sort of said that before. We say like Cam, it's not often that Cam misses a putt to lose something, especially a putt like that. So you can give him a break.
Well, that actually made me feel like a lot. Like, because obviously I was going for Cam to win, and I was going for Australia to win for once. They've never won before. So when he missed that putt, it felt like we lost. Like it felt like, I'm sure Cam still won, but it felt like a loss.
It was actually very interesting to see the Aces team waiting, and they won, and they were like, we want to pop the champagne, but Pat Perez was like, just keep it down, like, So Liv really want you to love the team winning. The first highlights package I saw was 4 Aces win Centurion.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's interesting. And then I had to go and find the Cam Smith highlights. So
It would have been really cool to see a team playoff as well and how they would have done that because they haven't done that yet. So I
Yeah.
was kind of rooting for that
Yeah,
too.
that would be cool.
That
But
would
like
have been
we
really
said,
cool.
we sort of said before, like Pat Reed went out and chased him, almost chased him down. Like Pat Perez put in a really good effort today. So the Aces, when we talk about guys winning comps, the Aces did go out and win the team event today.
Well, that was our favorite golfer, who weighed 63 today or something.
Louis?
Who's that?
No. Oh,
Oh,
Louis played great. No, for the Aces.
Patrick Reed.
Reed.
Reed
Yeah.
went 6
God.
under today. He went 7 under yesterday. He went better yesterday than he did today.
Yeah, but still, final day, still charging is pretty
Yeah, yeah.
impressive. I like.
100%.
This guy, Patrick Reed, like every time in live tournaments, I feel like the fourth day, and maybe not the last one or two, but I feel for the
third day.
majority, the third day, sorry, he's always chasing the lead. Like he comes out of nowhere.
I literally just said that to Dan about
Yeah.
20
Did you?
minutes ago.
Already
Yeah.
covered that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just
We said
He-
just
he's-
as you joined, we're talking about whether or not if you added a fourth day to all these live events, who would have actually won would be an interesting exercise to go through.
Yeah.
But we've sort of already covered all this stuff, so let's jump on. To
Yeah,
the,
fair.
one thing. Just
To the next
jumping
part.
quickly, that I just want to touch on the LPGA. I watched a fair bit of it during the workday because it for some reason it was like maybe because it was on the West Coast. It went through till like 1 p.m.
Awesome.
So I think I counted there was 7 ladies under par after the fourth day, and I think Minji was like 13th, and maybe she was 3 over. That's how hard Pebble Beach was playing. So
Wow.
the chick that won, Alison Corpus, I think her name is.
Yeah, she was 9 under.
She's like 9 under, and then it was like then it jumps to like 7 under, 6 under, 5 under, 4, and then by the 7th place we're in the positive numbers. I think Lydia Ko was like maybe 6 over or something. Nelly Corder about the same.
Lydia Ko was 8 over.
Yeah.
I did see. Did you see Lydia Ko shank it?
No.
Yeah, I saw it
Nelly
during the
Corder was
weekend.
13 over.
Yeah. So look, it was
13 over.
and I watched some of the YouTube guys that I watch play at Pebble Beach, and man, it was like blowing a gale. It was so hard. A couple of them are scratch golfers, and they finished like 8 over par kind of thing. It must have been real tough for the ladies out there this weekend.
Oh, but that's what the US Open's always built on, right? Is hard golf, and I love that. T6 was under 2 under, and then it goes to even at 8th, and then over par.
Yeah, I saw a
The
couple of
rest of it.
triple bogeys, just like more than a few. You get the occasional one, but like
Yeah,
a couple a day kind of thing.
yeah.
So-
The cut line was +6 after day 2.
Just hard.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hard.
Um,
Last place was 22 over on the final day, and 25 over after the second day. Wow.
The only other thing for me is the jumping to the DP World Tour. Didn't watch any of it. Not going to pretend I did. I know that Rasmus Højgaard or whatever won it.
Oh,
I think
cool.
that him and his brother are like the future, like the shining light for Team Europe for Ryder Cup. And there's a couple others, but I think this Ryder Cup coming up is going to be rough. Those guys may get in, depending what happens with the live and the if they bring Sergio back or not. Like
They can't. They just can't. Like they've got to. If US are doing it, Europe has to do it. They have to let them back in. Otherwise, it's going to be an absolute mauling again. They can't have that. They can't have that twice in a row, especially when it's in Europe.
I think the way the European players acted is very different to the US players, though. It's not
True.
like for like. So the way that Sergio carried on, do Poulters, and I just
Yeah, but Boulder's not making that team anyway. I wouldn't think.
I mean, they got a pretty solid team. They got what McIlroy, Rahm,
Hovland,
probably like Fitzpatrick's probably on there.
Patrick,
Cyril
Hatton,
Hatton.
Tommy
Yeah.
Fleetwood,
Yeah.
Shane Lowry.
Yeah.
Is
they've got a
Fleetwood on
good
there?
team. Fleetwood would be on there. Yeah, 100%. He's ranked pretty high. Even Seamus Power you've got in there. Some slightly lesser known names.
They were floating.
Rose is playing well.
Yeah, there's a couple of I think they're pretty good up to about 8 or 9 spots. And then I think there's 12 on
Yeah.
a team, and I think it starts getting a bit sketchy that like 10, 11, 12. They were floating Victor Perez and a few others, and you're just like, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, if we might jump into the bets now and have a quick chat about last week, and then we'll have a look at the Scottish Open coming up next week. So we did our draft last week, and Hayden Heighties took out the winner at Cam Smith, paying at $10. So you got $100 for that one. So you are well and truly leading now at $125.30 in the positive. Coming up second is Mr. Shanky Watts at negative $9.80. And well and truly coming last is myself at negative $206.40.
yeah.
That was it was a tough week for
You'll come
me,
back.
but we're gonna
I think in
pull
the
it back
live
this
one,
week.
if we do that again though, just in hindsight, I think
Yeah.
a lot of our guys were there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So we could
Yeah.
probably pay down a few more spots. I think like DJ was there and a few others were
We
there.
spoke about making science. Hayden and I spoke about making like our own sort of team. So you get to draft 4 players to make your team, and then doing something around
did.
that rather than
That's
we did, but like rather than
that's
just
what I
paying
said
outright.
last week, and then you
Yeah.
said no, we just want to do overall winner, and I said
Yeah,
okay, sure.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to bet on the Scottish Open this week, and obviously Shanky, you can have a quick look if you like. You can go last, or you can get your bets in later on. But what we're going to do for your knowledge is we're going to do a straight up T20, so nice and easy. We're going to do. You have to pick 2 players to come T40 as a multi, right? Then we're going to do T10, 20, and 30 as a multi, but you have to pick 3 players from 3 different nations. Does that make sense? So you can't pick all US guys. You can't pick all English guys. It has to be someone from, say, Britain and Ireland, someone from US, someone from the rest of the world.
Yeah, I need you to send that to me real quick.
Yeah, it's in the spreadsheet, but basically,
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, if you have a look at the Scottish Open, so T20, you want to pick 2 guys at T40 to do a multi, and then you want to pick a T10, 20, and 30 from 3 different countries. So what we'll do while you're having a quick look is Hayden, I might start with you if you wanna start with who you've got.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We're gonna go my T40 combo.
Okay.
So 2 players, T40 multi.
Yep.
Both to make T40 at least. I'm gonna go the oceanic connection of Foxy and Minwoo.
Almost copied mine exactly. I was gonna do the exact same thing, and I changed it.
Well,
up.
you've got time to change it, mate.
Yeah,
Foxy and
all good.
Minwoo.
I
My
like it.
T20 player in isolation, I'm gonna go Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham.
Yep.
Like it.
I have no idea how he'll play a legs course, so we'll see. And my combo 10, 20, 30. T10 multi, we're going to go the USA player Colin Morikawa.
Yeah, Colin Morikawa. Okay.
Yeah, I love him.
Let him go.
T20, we're going to go in the European player. We're going to go Tyrrell Hatton.
And
And 30, we're going to go Sung Jae
Sung Jae
from Korea.
All right.
That's my international multi.
Yeah, we've done very, very similar things here, but I can't change mine now because if I change them up, it's going to be a bit too hectic. But I've got for my T40 combo is I've got one Mr. Ryan Fox because he actually did well last year, I think, in the Scottish Open and in the Irish Open. He always plays well on those sort of rainy courses, very similar to New Zealand, right?
Because he hits like a 400-meter 2-iron.
Yeah, well, exactly. So we've got Foxy, and I'm going to do the Scottish connection here and go Bobby McIntyre.
Bobby Mac.
Scottish Open. He's the best Scottish player. Got to have him in there, surely. I figured I had to fit a Scottish player in there somewhere, and there honestly wasn't many places you could fit a Scottish player in. T20, I'm going to go with something that's probably a little bit boring, but I'm going to go with Mr. Paddy Cantlay. I feel like I need to have a win at negative $200, so I think Cantlay should come in at T20 for me. And my T10, 20, 30 is going to be my US player is going to be one Xander Schauffele for T10 since he won this event last year. My T20, which is going to be my European player, is going to be same as you. It's going to be Mr. Tyrrell Hatton because he's on a pretty good run, and obviously this is sort of his backyard. He should do quite well.
Yep.
And then T30, I've got Mr. Spinwoo Lee himself, Mr. Woozy Minwoo Lee. He's going to come in T30 for me, so I've got him 10 spots ahead of where you need him. which I'm not too upset about. Again, I think that he should play well on a link style course, having good control of his irons and a bit of a long hitter should be all right there. So,
Cool.
How are you going, Shanky? Is it you ready to go, or
I'm always ready to go, mate. Let's do it.
Well, what do you
Let's
got
wing
for
it.
us, mate?
All right. Let's start with our 2 top 40s. I'm going recency bias. I'm going Daniel Hillier, top 40, or Hillier, however you say that, and Ludwig Aberg, my 2 top 40s.
Ludwig Aberg, okay.
Yeah.
Why not? That's gonna pay well.
My top 20, Fleetwood. Throw him in there. You got to support the young man with the beautiful hair. All right, and then for top 10, top 20, top 30. So this is what I'm currently looking at. I'm going to go top 10, McIlroy, my Brit Irish.
Okay. So you've used your European. You've used your British Irish.
Yeah, yep. And then top 20, got to go Minwoo Lee.
Yep.
Got to get one Aussie in there. And top 20. And then top 30. So a US top 30. This is the one that I'm debating. God, it's just slim pickings. I mean, I could go safe and just be like, oh yeah, Scotty Scheffler top 30.
It's not slim pickings because you've got literally like all the best golfers in the world here this week, but
no, slim pickings. So you know what?
Don't do it.
The young man's been struggling lately, and I feel like he just needs a little pat on the back. I'm gonna go Justin Thomas.
Okay, JT.
Yeah.
All right,
he played well, not too long ago, at least one day. So I feel like he can come back.
I like it. I've just put all of your bets in Hayden's, so
I saw that.
Quickly swap that around, so that's fine. But yeah, no, I like it. So what we've got is our T10, 20, 30. I've got Xander, Hatton, Minwoo Lee in that order. We've got Morikawa, Hatton, Sung Jae Im for Mr. High Tees. Then we've got McIlroy, Minwoo Lee, JT for Shanky. T20, I've got Paddy Cantlay. We've got Wyndham Clark for High Tees and Fleetwood, to no one's surprise, for Shanky. And then we've got our combination for T40. I've got Foxy and Bobby McIntyre, Foxy and Minwoo Lee for Hayden, and Daniel Hillier and Ludwig Aberg for Shanky. So there you go. So we're all done for the bet.
That's an easy money top 40.
Ludwig's been playing good, man.
He's been playing great.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the bets for this week, and I think we're going to have just a quick chat about Scottish Open next week, and we didn't realize how strong the field actually was. So if you want to, how do you guys feel about the Scottish Open next week?
I feel excited. It feels like an international event,
Yeah. I think it's the PGA is so, like skewed to the American market, and the DP World Tour, apart from a few events, is really like a red-headed stepchild to it kind of thing. So it's good to have a real big spotlight on it leading into the Open. I really like those courses. I love to see the guys struggle. I love to see the ball disappear.
Love to watch them play in the rain.
Yeah, I hate the rain. But when those courses are running, I love to see the ball. Like when Rory smashes at 300 yards and it rolls another 100 yards. It's cool to watch.
I'm very excited to see the form of these players going into the Open.
Yeah.
Now Morikawa has always been an outlier. We spoke about this last week. He's never played really that well at the Scottish Open. So if he plays bad, that could be a good thing. Who knows?
Well, we were saying before about how it's good to see some of these boys go over and enjoy Wimbledon and things like that, getting ready for the English weather and play the Scottish Open. It's good to see. Yeah, I said to Hayden at the start, if you look at the OWGR rankings, you got 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 15th, all the way through to the top 30 golfers basically are all here, top 40 even, all getting ready for the Open. And then you got Cam Smith obviously winning live events, getting ready for the Open as well.
And on that, well, you know that they're paying attention to that.
Oh, 100%. And Cam Smith will be another one that'll play well on the links course. It's a shame that he can't be here at the Scottish Open. Actually, I'd love to see him compete against these guys this week. But when we talk about the rain, I feel like some of these, like the Scottish Open, the Irish Open, they have a bit more maybe flexibility for the rain, because it's not in America. I think when it rains, it's like thunderstorms and lightning, so they have to stop. Whereas in Europe, it's just rain, so you can still play. And sometimes it's fun to watch them, sitting under their umbrella. They got the gloves hanging off the
Was
umbrella.
it last year that was particularly bad?
Irish Open was really bad. I remember it
Yeah.
was like absolutely
Yeah.
pissing down. That, like, I think they had caddies like umbrellaing over them while they were putting. It was that
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Which is, it's always fun to see. And like I said,
Brooming the greens off with the puddles.
yeah, they've got a bit more, a bit more steel for the rain there. So maybe these European guys will pull out and play really well. But I'm looking forward to seeing it next week for sure.
Now I got a question for you guys. Speaking of Wimbledon, there was 3 young men. Hayden, you posted a picture of them. Now I want to know. You're a eligible young lady, beautiful. You're going out there. You see these 3 guys.
Ricky Fowler.
Who are you going for?
Ricky.
But the
Richard.
man. But you look at the whole kit and caboodle, right? Like the shoes up to the looks. Like Spieth's going casual shoes.
Are we going purely off outfit, or who we think would be the like the best personality as well?
It's like you walk by those 3, which one are you like, oh, hey.
It's definitely, I mean, Spieth has definitely missed the memo on the shoes.
Spieth is too casual. Sneakers, you're at Wimbledon, grow up.
And he hasn't, it looks like he hasn't even got his pants fitted. I think, Ricky's got the hair on point. He's got the, JT's got a bit more of the striped shirt and the sunnies in the pocket. So it'd be a tight battle between those 2, but yeah, Ricky would have it for me.
I reckon Ricky looks like he could easily jump into a limousine with a gangster, and the guy's got like a machine gun.
I love Ricky's shoes.
Like,
I love the brown shoes he's got with the little, the little metal clasps over the top.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if I like this Ricky. He's not in orange. He's not, he's not making a statement anymore. He's gone. He's sold out. He's sold out to the man. I don't know if I like it.
Worried about the boys getting blisters with these new shoes on. Maybe that's why Spieth's got the comfy sneakers on.
Hey, Ricky just won something. He can afford to buy a new suit.
Yeah. Is Ricky and JT going to have bloody blisters all over their feet leading into the Scottish? Who knows?
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like the other thing too, but the hair, like you always see these guys wearing hats. So when Ricky cut his hair, I'm thinking, oh, maybe the young man's, starting to go a bit thinner up top, and that's why he's not going the long hair anymore. The man's stacked up top still. He's got a ton of hair. I don't know why he's gotten rid of the long locks. I love the old look.
Now, what did you think about the Tommy Fleetwood one? Did you see that picture?
Oh man,
with the hat, the fedora.
Yeah. If he was in that mix, there'd be no question.
No contest.
No contest. Even if those 3 showed up with girls, they'd all be leaving with Fleetwood. Not a chance that he wasn't taking them all. The man he's a stud. He's an absolute stud. He could be a gangster. He could sell cocaine on the side. Absolutely.
Maybe he does. Who knows? Interesting that no one took any Justin Rose action this week. I've just realized. Would have thought Rosie would have a good showing this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever back Rose. He's just never. I've always found him a bit.
You'd be happy for him if he won, but it's not like a yeah. You're right. All right, well let's just scoot on over to the holing out section then, and wrap this one up so we can get ready for our special pod tomorrow. What are you holing out on this week, Hayden?
I'm going to send it to the chat so you can get some perspective. I'll give it a second. Sending you a picture. I had this last night. It is the new Korean fried chicken joint in my suburb. Man, amazing, so good. And like there's a few things in life that just pair well together. Korean chicken and beer, and just like it was so delicious that a friend is coming over tomorrow to watch State of Origin. And we're going to have that again. It was so delicious. Just Korean fried chicken. That's it. There's nothing special about my whole out. I'm just that's it. Amazing.
I find it cute that you said your wife's coming over and you called her your friend. That's really
Yeah. Fair enough. Board game night.
No, but I'm a big Korean wing guy, and I don't think I would ever not appreciate a Korean wing. I'm looking at the flavors you've submitted. I feel like the third picture the one on the left, that's got to be your soy, maybe honey soy, something like that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, at this point with Korean wings, that's the only flavor I go. It's just so reliable and always so good.
The
I
the red
back that.
one's like a double, some kind of double hot Korean chili sauce. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll get you up here to try some out. We'll get you and your lovely wife and child up for some Korean wings. We'll do it.
Okay.
Anyway,
You buying, right?
Love it.
absolutely.
Loving it. Shanky, what are you holding out on this week, mate?
Oh man, I haven't even had time to think this week about what I'm holding out on. What's been good? You know what's been good? Our bedroom.
I
And
like it.
now
Baby number two?
let me give you some context. So
Yeah.
we've been doing renos for about a year, and we've been living in basically shoeboxes, on the floor out in the street some nights. It's not been ideal, especially with a pregnant to a newborn child. But we finally moved into our bedroom probably, about a month ago, and it's a different vibe. Like I feel like I'm in a hotel room. Like it just feels like I go in there and I'm on a holiday. Ensuite's almost done. I think we used the showers for the first time yesterday. And amazing double showers, right? So like you get in there and it's just tons of space. I love the tiles. It's just a really good vibe. Put the shutters on as well. So I'm loving it. We sat in bed last night and watched Silo on the TV. We got one of those frame TVs that look like it looks like a picture during the day, but you can turn it on, it's a TV. And we watched Silo. Highly recommend Silo. Such a great show. I heard good things about the book, but the show is great on Apple as well. So would highly recommend. But yeah, I'm holding out on my finally having a proper bedroom.
Yeah, great.
Nice one.
Awesome. And I'm holding out this week on a couple things. We talk a lot about food on this pod for some reason. I don't know what that says about us, but went out to Heitzi's house this weekend, and his lovely wife Cassandra made us a big pasta bake, which is a bit of it's a hometown favorite for myself. My mum used to make a pasta bake, and nothing hits quite as hard as just pasta with anything with grilled cheese on top of it. So we absolutely gorged ourselves on I think multiple bowls of that. Moved on to some of the famous Danny bagels that we made fresh that night. So we moved straight into the bagels, and then not only the bagels, we moved on to another classic combination of apple pie and vanilla ice cream straight after that. So just absolutely filthy overindulging. And then it would have been topped off if Liv was actually on that night, but it wasn't because of the rain. And we even cracked open half a bottle of tequila between us. So just a bit of holding out on just overindulging every now and then, being a little bit silly. And yeah, that was great. Just some homemade baking, some ice cream, and it never goes astray. Just filling up on carbs.
Yep.
Nice. Well, yeah. It's winter, bulking time.
Carb loading. Why not? Hibernating for the winter.
Yeah.
Let's go. Awesome. All right. Well, that's us for today. There'll be a special pod again coming out tomorrow. Otherwise, I think we're done.